The new RS4 Mini from DJI might just be the easiest gimbal that I've ever used. Let's find out why. The DJI RS4 Mini is a compact gimbal aimed at content creators who are using a small camera package like this, or even just their mobile phone. If you're a travel content creator who's looking to add a little bit of extra flair to your content, this is a great option for you. It's light, it can either fit inside your bag or in the tripod holder, but don't let its lightweight fool you. It still has a hefty load capacity of 2 kilograms or 4.4 pounds. Basically, in camera terms, that's a mirrorless body with a lightweight zoom lens. So a really capable gimbal for a lot of people's needs. For clarity, we have the RS4 Mini combo pack here. So it comes with a couple of extra things that you won't get if you get the gimbal just as a base model, but they are pretty impressive, so stick around to see what they are. If you're wondering why do you even need a gimbal, basically when you're filming, this will allow you to get a lot more smoother motion if you're doing a walking shot, for example. So you can spend more time on the framing and less time concentrating on making sure that your camera's still to avoid those shakes. I mean, look at this, I'll move this about now. The camera is staying pretty still and it'll allow you to get a lot more dynamic movements and get a lot more creative with your moving shots rather than just using it handheld. And to make getting those moving dynamic shots even easier, the RS4 Mini has something pretty cool up its sleeve. This, the intelligent tracking module. So essentially what this is DJI's ActiveTrack technology made super simple. So all you do is on top of here, make sure that's clicked on. We get a little red light on the back here. So you find your subject, click the trigger once, the light will turn green, and now you're automatically tracking your subject up to a distance of 10 meters. And this will allow you to get really pro-looking shots so much easier. Shots, for example, like the orbiting shot, you can now concentrate on walking around your subject and making sure you don't fall over because the ActiveTrack module is going to keep your subject in frame the whole time. Or if you're doing a walking and talking shot, again, you can just concentrate on walking, you're not going to fall over, your subject's going to be in frame, it's going to look amazing. And now, don't get me wrong, the DJI RS4 Mini didn't skimp out on pro-level features for when you're ready to use them. The touchscreen is packed with high-end features, ready for you to dial in this gimbal to your exact liking. So if you really want to dial in the intelligent tracking settings, you just swipe left on the screen and you come up with this, the ActiveTrack setting menu. And you've got a bunch of different options here. So the first one, composition. So you have two options here. You can either keep the current framing, which is basically the gimbal is allowing you to choose where the subject is within your frame, or you have center tracking subject. And that basically means your subject's going to be in the center of the frame. Especially if you're doing a walking and talking shot, I would recommend this just so you know your subject is in the frame, in the center, they're always going to be in, and you can concentrate more on your surroundings. Secondly, we have tilt follow. So if you toggle this on and off, this will essentially know whether your gimbal is going to track your subject up and down like this. I would recommend to have tilt follow on, especially if you're starting low and finishing high in an orbiting shot, for example, because then it will allow you to keep your subject within the same spot in the frame whilst you're getting that movement, so you get a really nice parallax as you're moving around your subject. And then you can dial in the ActiveTrack speed here. I like to keep this ActiveTrack speed on fast. Basically, it's just nice to have this. And as long as you're being smooth, it will still look really smooth and nice. It just makes sure that that subject is always within the frame. And finally, we have a toggle on and off for the ring light on the intelligent tracking module. And this is great to have on just because your subject will know that they're being tracked. And also you have the little LED on the back, which indicates you whether it's being tracked or not. This is also great for solo shooters because you'll have a visual indication whether your gimbal is actually tracking you or not, and you can fix that problem if it's still red. DJI really have thought of everything with this intelligent tracking module, and it'll make you get pro-looking shots really easily, and you'll find so many new creative ways to use your gimbal, which is fantastic. But if we go back to the main menu on here, let's go back there. We have, of course, on the top left, the auto tune or the calibration settings. It's always good practice to calibrate your gimbal before every shoot, especially if you're changing lenses and cameras. It's just nice to know that the gimbal is tuned directly for that lens. And don't worry, it makes weird noises and sounds like gears are grinding. It's not broken. That's how they're supposed to sound. It looks a little weird, looks a little stressful. That one sounds like something is breaking, but it's not. Well, no, it's that one. Then we have all the physical buttons. So we have the trigger here, which does a multitude of things. So if you hold it down, it'll say gimbal lock on the screen. And basically the gimbal is gonna stay exactly where you are no matter how you move it. So if you're trying to focus on something, that's it. Because then as soon as I start moving this, the camera will move about. Gimbal lock, the camera is staying put. If you tap the trigger twice, the gimbal resets and brings it back to its original starting point. So if you tap the trigger 3 times, you get into selfie mode and then you can vlog. It's quite an intense vlogging setup, but you've got stable vlogging footage, it's going nowhere. So clearly the RS4 Mini is a very capable gimbal, but the first thing you need to know about a gimbal is how to balance it. For me, the main reason why I tend to stay away from gimbals on a shoot is because they can be annoying to set up, especially if you can't find a flat surface. Balancing them can be a bit of a pain, but with the RS4 Mini, it's a breeze. And the reason this is so easy to balance them is because the rails are Teflon coated, so it's really smooth. We have this little dial here that can make minor adjustments, because there's nothing worse than when you're trying to adjust something and then it slips and then you have to start again. So another great feature about the RS4 Mini is that you can swap from horizontal to vertical shooting really fast. So if you want to grab something quickly in the field for social media, for example, all we have to do is unlock that there, press that in, and then tighten this back up. And after a quick rebalance, you can get shooting in vertical, no problem at all. And if you want to get a low under slung shot, that's where the briefcase handle comes in. Now this is actually designed with the RS4 Mini in mind. It's 20% smaller and 12% lighter than the regular handle, but it doesn't skimp out on quality and feels great when you're using it. It's got a slight rubberized textured grip here, so you're gonna keep hold of it no matter what, in those conditions where it might be a bit treacherous outside. So a really good addition to the RS4 Mini combo pack. The RS4 Mini from DJI is a very capable gimbal. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, it has something for you to take your content to new heights. So especially with the introduction of the intelligent tracking module, this makes ActiveTrack shots so much easier. It'll get you shooting orbit or walking and talking shots like that, just one click of the trigger and you start tracking. That is so fast, and especially if the light is fading and you need to get that shot, this will help and won't hold you back in those shoots. But I want to hear from you in those comments. Is this going to be the first gimbal that you've ever picked up? Or what gimbal are you going to be upgrading from to get the RS4 Mini? I would love to hear it in those comments. But in the meantime, I've been Matt, and thanks for geeking out with me about the RS4 Mini.